There are people in your life right now who are not what they seem. They do not raise their voice. They do not show their teeth. They smile while quietly rearranging the ground beneath you. Carl Jung spent decades studying these people. He called them masters of the mask. They don't show you the truth. They show you what they think will win you over. The most dangerous ones are subtle. They blend in. They disarm you. They look like friends. Sometimes they even feel like family. You don't recognize them at first. They arrive as comfort, as help, as safety. But over time you notice something, your choices feel less your own. Jung warned, people don't show you who they are. They show you what they think will work. And if you can't see through the act, you will hand them your trust, your time, your energy. By the time you realize the truth, they have already shaped your world to fit their needs. Some live as permanent victims. Every setback is someone else's fault. Every story ends with their suffering. At first, you feel compassion. You step in to help. You believe they want to heal. But their pain never changes because it's not meant to. It is their shield. It is their weapon. By staying the victim, they never have to take responsibility. They never have to grow. They make you feel guilty for not being broken yourself. Others are mirrors. They reflect exactly what you want to see. They agree with you. They admire your dreams. They echo your values. Feels like deep connection. It feels safe, but it's a performance. You are not meeting them, you are meeting yourself in their reflection. They have no solid core. Their loyalty is not to you but to your approval. As Nietzsche wrote, "I'm not upset that you lied to me, I'm upset that from now on I can't believe you." Some appear supportive but plant seeds of doubt. They nod at your ambitions then say softly, "I just don't want you to be disappointed." They present fear as reason. They call hesitation wisdom. They frame judgment as care. You think they're protecting you, but really, they are protecting their influence. If you grow beyond them, they lose control. And then there are the secret competitors. They stand beside you as friends but measure every step you take. They celebrate your wins, briefly, before shifting the spotlight back to themselves. They tell slightly bigger stories. They copy your ideas and present them as their own. When you stumble, they feel relief but dress it as concern. They don't hate you. They resent the reflection of what they have not achieved. Jung's warning here is sharp. Never trust someone who can't clap for you when it's not their turn to win. These faces rarely reveal themselves all at once. They work slowly. They reshape your reality bit by bit. They create doubt where there was clarity. They make you second-guess your own instincts. And over time, they make you believe their presence is necessary. The truth is, danger doesn't always look dangerous. It can look like kindness. It can sound like guidance. It can feel like love. That is why these masks work. Because they touch your deepest needs, your need for safety, understanding, and belonging. They play on your empathy. They twist your loyalty. And they do it so gently you barely notice the cost. In the next chapter, we'll explore the last two faces Jung believed were the hardest to see. The ones who do not control you through fear or doubt, but through your desire for wisdom, clarity, and emotional connection. The last two masks are the most dangerous. Not because they are loud. Not because they attack you directly. But because they hide control inside what looks like love, wisdom, and care. Carl Jung warned that these masks are the hardest to see, because they do not trigger your defenses. They bypass them. They reach for your trust, your admiration, your hope for growth. One wears the face of the wise guide. They speak softly. They hold eye contact. They quote philosophy and speak of healing. They know the right words: alignment, shadow work, higher self. At first, They seem enlightened. They seem above the chaos of everyday ego. You trust them. You listen. But Jung knew the truth. This is often not the ego dissolved, it is the ego disguised. It craves admiration. It thrives on being the authority. They never shout. They never insult. Instead, they make you feel smaller. They say, "You're projecting. That's your unhealed self speaking. You still have inner work to do." It sounds like guidance. It is really a power move. Every disagreement becomes proof that you are less evolved. Every emotion becomes evidence you need their leadership. You can't call them out without proving them right. You become the student who can never graduate. Jung would call this a shadow hidden inside light, a need for control masked as spiritual growth. The second mask is the empathic controller. They feel everything. They read the smallest shift in your tone. They sense tension before you speak. At first it feels safe. It feels like someone truly understands you. You relax. You share more. Then it changes. You start managing your words so you don't upset them. You hold back anger because negative energy will affect them. You walk carefully so they don't feel overwhelmed. Soon, you are protecting their emotions more than your own. This is not empathy. It is control through sensitivity. Jung often spoke of projection. The empathic controller lives in it. They make their emotional instability your responsibility. If you fail to keep them calm, you are called cold, insensitive, even toxic. You believe them. You try harder. You shrink. But the truth is, their storms are not yours to carry. They have convinced you otherwise because it keeps you bound to them. These two masks work because they do not look like danger. They look like care. They sound like wisdom. They feel like connection. They pull you in by meeting your deepest needs, to be guided, to be understood, to feel safe. Once inside, they shape your reality without resistance. As the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche warned, beware that, when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster. When you deal with these masks, you must guard your clarity without letting their shadow pull you into your own. Jung believed the only defense is awareness. See the mask early. Name it. Step back before the bond deepens, because the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to tell their voice from your own. In the next chapter, we will turn inward, because these masks only work when you allow them. And there is a reason you do. These masks only work because you let them. Not consciously. Not because you enjoy being controlled, but because something in you responds to them. Carl Jung believed we are drawn to what is unresolved within us. If we have unhealed wounds, we will attract people who press on them. Not to hurt us, but to repeat the pattern we already know. It starts with familiarity. You mistake it for connection. Someone's energy feels right because it feels like home. But home is not always safe. If you grew up managing someone else's emotions, you will find the empathic controller oddly comfortable. If you were praised for self-sacrifice, the chronic victim will feel natural to care for. If you learned love through approval, the charming mirror will feel like the perfect match. This is not fate. It is conditioning. Your nervous system is wired to respond to what it recognizes, not what is healthy. Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You keep tolerating the mask because you think this is just how relationships are. But it is not. There is also fear. Fear of conflict. Fear of abandonment. Fear of being seen as cold or unkind. So you stay quiet. You justify their behavior. You tell yourself they mean well. You confuse empathy with tolerance. You think setting boundaries will make you selfish. You believe walking away will make you cruel. But the truth is, boundaries are not walls, they are doors. They decide who gets to enter and how they are allowed to stay. Another reason you tolerate them is hope. Hope they will change. Hope they will see the harm they cause. Hope your love will be enough to transform them. Hope is powerful. But without evidence, it is just an anchor. It keeps you in place while they keep taking. Jung believed we project parts of ourselves onto others. If you have hidden your own ambition, you may tolerate the secret competitor because they live it out for you. If you have buried your own need for recognition, you may forgive the wise one because they represent what you want to be. Sometimes you tolerate the mask because it mirrors your own. That is the hardest truth to face. As Soren Kierkegaard wrote, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. You will see the pattern clearly only after it has played out. But you must act before the ending repeats. Breaking the pattern starts with awareness. Noticing when you feel smaller, quieter, or less certain around someone. Noticing when your decisions shift to please them rather than yourself. Noticing when you walk away from conversations feeling drained instead of supported. The moment you notice, you have a choice. Stay and keep the pattern alive, or step back and create space for something healthier. It will feel wrong at first. Your body will miss the familiar rhythm of control. You will question yourself, but that discomfort is not a sign you are wrong. It is a sign you are leaving the pattern. These masks lose their power the moment you stop performing your part in their story. The moment you see them clearly, the illusion begins to fade. In the next chapter, we will explore how to remove these masks from your life, without guilt, without apology, and without losing the compassion that makes you who you are. Seeing the mask is the first step. Removing it from your life is the second. And this is where most people hesitate. Not because they doubt what they've seen, but because they fear what will follow. The silence, the change, the loss of what felt like connection. Carl Jung believed that true growth demands separation from what diminishes you. But separation is not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's simply choosing not to step back into the same room. Start with clarity. Not just about them, but about you. What you value. What you will no longer negotiate. What kind of energy you allow into your space. Then comes boundaries. Not spoken once and forgotten, but lived every day. A boundary is not a rule you hand someone else. It's a commitment you make to yourself. People wearing masks will test them. They will question your motives. They will call you selfish. They will accuse you of being cold. This is the moment most people break. They soften the boundary to keep the peace. But peace bought with self-betrayal is not peace. It is surrender. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." You cannot do this while performing for someone else's script. When you remove a mask from your life, expect pushback. The chronic victim may guilt you harder. The charming mirror may turn into the critic. The wise one may question your growth. The empathic controller may drown you in their pain. This is not a sign to stop. It is a sign you are breaking the pattern. Do not try to unmask them. Do not argue for your perspective. People protect their masks fiercely. They built their identity around them. Instead, protect your own clarity. Withdraw your energy. Step back. Sometimes the safest goodbye is one you never announce. You simply stop feeding the dynamic. You choose silence over explanation, distance over drama. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Your thoughts are shaped by the company you keep. Choose them as carefully as you choose your beliefs." Removing a mask from your life is not about punishment. It is about preservation. You are not trying to change them. You are changing the terms under which they can exist in your world. And here is the paradox. You can do this without losing compassion. You can love someone from a distance. You can wish them well without staying close. Compassion does not require self-destruction. You will feel lighter. You will notice your thoughts are your own again. You will have space for people who show up without disguise. And in that space, you will also meet yourself again, the version untouched by manipulation, unshaped by someone else's shadow. This is the self Jung wanted you to protect. The one that can face life without a mask. The one that doesn't need to control or be controlled. The journey is not about hunting masks in others forever. It is about becoming so rooted in yourself that no mask can slip past you again. In the next chapter, we will explore how to strengthen that root, how to build a life where authenticity is the only currency and where masks, once seen, have no place to hide. Removing the masks from your life is not the end. It is the beginning. The question now is, how do you live so they never return? Carl Jung believed self-awareness was not a moment but a practice. You do not become immune to manipulation once and for all. You become skilled at recognizing it faster. The key is to build a life where authenticity is the default, where you attract people who show up as they are, where you no longer need to filter yourself to fit in. This begins with knowing your values. Not the ones you inherited, not the ones you pretend to hold to keep others happy, but the ones that feel like oxygen to you. Write them down. Speak them often. Make decisions that protect them. Masks thrive in vague spaces. When you are unclear, they can rewrite your reality. Clarity is your shield. Then strengthen your boundaries. Not just against others, but against your own old habits. Notice when you start explaining yourself too much. Notice when you feel guilty for saying no. Notice when you feel the pull to rescue someone at your own expense. You cannot live beyond masks while replaying the same emotional scripts. Break them. Choose differently. Fill your life with honest mirrors. People who tell you the truth without agenda. People who celebrate you without competition. People who can hold your flaws without weaponizing them. As Epictetus said, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Also, learn to sit in solitude. If you fear being alone, masks will always have power over you. Solitude teaches you you're enough without constant validation. It teaches you to hear your own voice clearly. The more you know that voice, the harder it is for anyone to replace it with theirs. Living beyond masks also means watching for the ones you might wear. Because none of us are immune. We all have shadows. We all have moments where we hide behind charm, control, or false humility. When you see your own mask, don't shame yourself. Name it. Ask what it's protecting. Bring it into the light. Masks dissolve when exposed. This is the deeper work. Not just avoiding manipulation, but becoming the kind of person who doesn't need to use it. You will still meet masks. They will still test your boundaries. But they will not find the same entry points. They will not find the same unhealed doors to walk through. And here's the truth. Life beyond masks is quieter, less dramatic, but it is richer. Your relationships will feel lighter because they are built on trust, not performance. Your decisions will feel cleaner because they are not filtered through someone else's agenda. As Lao Tzu wrote, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." Letting go of masks, yours and theirs, creates space for what is real. And in that space you find a new kind of power. Not the power to control. Not the power to dominate, but the power to live as yourself without fear. That is the life beyond masks. Not perfect, not without challenge, but free.